introduction.
Alright.
Who you guys are.
I'm George Brown, George Michael Brown III, co-owner of Seven Crowns Tattoo, or the Society of the Seven Crowns Tattoo.
And
I'm Matthew Ellis. I'm the other co-owner of the Society of the Seven Crowns Tattoo.
alright. And how did you guys get started with this shop here?
I missed the garbage. About 2.5 years ago, we both decided that we wanted to focus on doing custom work, doing things on our terms a little more, not sort of catering to the walking crowd as much. And we both had very, very similar ideas as to what kind of place we wanted to put together. And we decided that working for somebody else was for the birds as well. So we put it together about, it's about 2.5 years ago now. And exciting, fun adventure that's actually worked out very well for us.
Alright. And you have anything to say?
No, you pretty much covered it all. We were working together in a street shop for the better part of and over 10 years, and
what was that street shop? It was Way Cool Tattoos Uptown, I think.
Oh, that place.
The name of it, I think.
I've heard of that place.
Yeah, a lot of people have. It's a very popular shop, Way Cool Tattoos Uptown.
we used to work there, and we left and made our own thing, so we could, play by our own rules, make our own mistakes, and it's worked out pretty good.
Cool. And how did you guys personally get started as tattoo artists?
Went down to the crossroads, met a man, sold my soul, let me tattoo.
And what's the real story?
The real story is really long. A little paraphrase, basically. Once I was exposed to tattoos in the proper light, I fell in love with the process. I was in school for art, and it seemed like the most challenging media one could ever work in. And I got hooked. And I got hooked as a customer, and then I got hooked as an artist, and went from there.
Alright. And what about you?
I was in school as an English major, and a friend of mine was opening a shop. Asked me if I wanted to apprentice, and I jumped at the chance because it was something that I wanted to do since I was in my teens. And kind of, it fell by the wayside, unfortunately, for many years because just lack of opportunity, and didn't really want to apprentice under people in that area. And when I had this opportunity with a friend of mine, I said, yeah, absolutely, and I picked it up. University schedule was conducive to spending long hours in a tattoo shop, so it worked out.
That's good. And so what do you guys like best about doing the custom art?
I'll take that one while you think. If you...
What's that?
I'll go ahead.
Yeah,
with that one. You guys think about it for me. Basically, there's a lot of things, but two of the main ones are the ability to express yourself artistically and put more of your art into it instead of doing the same old flash over and over and over again, and sometimes doing things that you might not necessarily even like as a tattoo over and over again. So it gives us a chance to express ourselves artistically. As well, with custom work, it's a double-edged sword, but you get more of a connection with your client, and you spend longer times talking about what the end result might be versus just picking something off the wall and slapping it on. Mm-hmm. That has its time and place. It is very important in the world of tattooing, but after a certain amount of time, you want to explore the other side of it, and that's what I've done. Mm-hmm. We've done.
I would add just consistently challenging and bettering yourself to that. Consistently trying to one-up yourself, It's like, the last time I did this, I did it this way. I want to try something that maybe works even better this time, and it's not to say that, the last piece you did wasn't quality work. It's just that, like, constantly striving to do better and better and better and better. You know, I think that's a part of it as well. So you don't really get that much of an opportunity to do that if you're just doing, you know, consistently doing lettering or you know or cartoon characters or butterflies and whatnot. You know, so
Yeah.
I would say.
So what would be the best tattoo you've done? Like one of the best.
The last one.
Yeah, the last one I did. Yeah. The first one in my portfolio at present.
Which was
I did an owl.
an owl.
A nice owl one on the side, and it was that's my favorite right now.
Okay. And what about yours? Your favorite?
I tattooed time.
Time.
Yep. Like, if I tried to explain it any further than that, your head would explode.
A clock. Or
No,
something.
literally time. Not 2D, not 3D, 4D.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Very difficult process.
Like, I guess you have to understand physics or something.
You have to be beyond understanding physics.
All right, that's cool. And what has been one tattoo that you rejected, or is there any that you've not wanted to do?
Not really. There are things that, due to circumstance and schedules, that, like, we have other people that work with us here at Seven Crowns. We have two other artists, Morgan McDonald and Savannah Parent. And sometimes people will come in because they heard, "Oh, George, you tattooed my buddy. You did a really good job on that back piece. I need 3 letters." And you could wait forever to get in on the schedule of George or I, or they would take care of it in a much more timely pace. So there's that sort of, it's not a rejection necessarily, but just things that we pass on because of it just doesn't work schedule-wise. When it comes to artistic, it really doesn't come up a lot. Like when I was younger, in the tattoo world, I would say, you know, I'd stay away from the isms, like, you know, sexual violence or racism.
Sorry,
or
sexual violence isn't.
Sexual
Sexism.
violence ism.
Keeping with your
I actually didn't know what the ism word is for that. So.
sexual violence isn't.
Sexual violenceism, racism, you know, things like that. But to be honest, they don't come to me.
Dummism.
Dummism,
Dummism.
idiotism, complete and utter I don't understand ism. Stay away from those. But yeah, they don't really come to me, so I don't really have to deal with rejecting those too often. When it comes to isms that I'm not into, say racism. Racist stuff doesn't come to me because usually racist people will go to other racist people to get their tattoos done. There's people that have sort of a similar headspace for it.
Yeah.
He's saying me.
Same George.
I'm not
What?
racist. I'm not racist, but no.
Okay.
No.
Is there any
George
that-
Jolson, nice to meet you.
have you rejected anything?
Well, again, yeah, I mean, you know, something that's sort of distasteful to me, you know, racist or you know, horribly sexist, or you know, I mean, that's the kind of thing I would reject outright. I'm not wild about doing big fields of black color and that kind of thing, so I might, you know, pass that on. You know, that's less of a rejection, but you know, like just to note too. I mean, our fabulous walk-in artists are also very, very capable of doing and quite often do a lot of custom work, but they are here also to field some of the stuff that, you know, we've just kind of tired of doing, you know, and the reason that we came here. So they're kind of like best of both worlds up there.
Or it's just not necessarily our forte.
Yeah, there's another thing, you know, if something doesn't, if you know, if I'm not going to do a great job on something, I will pass them on to another artist, you know. Preferably somebody in the shop, but if there's somebody that's in town that I know that's very specialized in a specific style or something, we're, you know, I mean, there's enough work to go around, you know, we're not, you know, we're not loaded rich, but we're not poor.
You're not starving.
Yeah. So I mean, if somebody's going to do a really, really good job on something for somebody, I'd rather see that happen than, you know, I don't need to tattoo the world. I'd like to, but I don't need to, you know, it's not necessary.
Yeah.
Would you
So,
like to give the world a hope?
a tattoo.
The tattoo needle? Tattoo needle vote. Okay.
Okay, and do you guys have like a favorite style then?
Not really.
No?
No, it bounces around so much. You know, I have things that I'm into right now, very specifically right now. But then, you know, a week from now, it's like, oh, okay, you know, I've got another thing that I, you know, like to try my hand at, but really, really varied.
That goes in hand with what you had said earlier about striving to do better. Right?
Yeah.
Like if you stagnate within something, you're not doing better. And you know, you get to some personal high levels on things, and then you get interested in other stuff, or you find a different way that you like to do something, and that necessarily won't be classified in one specific style, be in this other specific style. So it's always changing.
Yeah.
That seems to be our approach. I mean, like, there are some artists that love to, you know, work.
Yeah, they have a
specifically
style.
on, you know, specifically on one thing, and they'll ride that, and they do it very, very well. And,
Yeah.
you know, like those are the people that I might send somebody to if I was like, oh, okay, you know, I want a black and gray portrait of, you know, Gene Simmons, and Bob Tyrrell happens to be in town. Duh, you know, like that's kind of a no-brainer. But you know, I know that we tend to kind of bounce all over the place, and maybe that part of that might be because of where we came up, you know, because like we came up in a street shop environment, so there's always different stuff coming in, you know. It's not always interesting, but it's always, you know, it's somewhat varied,
Yeah. So speaking of interesting, like, do you guys have any interesting customers? Any
Every last
weird customers? Any stories?
Every last one. Like we were saying earlier, with versus being in a street shop where the majority of the work is smaller stuff, token tattoos or first tattoos or so on and so forth.
Yeah.
With the larger custom work, you get to know these people more, and the more I get to know people, the weirder they are. Period. So every single last one, weird.
And your breadth of knowledge is so it's so increased by meeting and getting to spend time with so many different people, you know. I mean, I've tattooed physicists, I've tattooed, you know, sociologists, I've tattooed
cab drivers,
doctors,
doctors.
What kind of
build
tattoos?
Foundations for massive buildings, you know. It's like every time I'm talking to each of them with, I mean, yeah, and there's the other thing. I mean, like they all get different. You know, like you'd be surprised at what, let's say, the construction workers getting.
What does a physicist get?
The physicist might be like, you know,
nothing to do with physics.
Nothing to do with physics.
What?
These people have lives outside of their jobs as well.
Yeah.
The physicist, when he goes home on the weekend, may just be the best barbecue cook in the world. So he gets like a roast turkey and two crossed, like a knife and a fork. Has nothing to do with his job necessarily.
He could get something really interesting, like with the mathematical.
Awesome. Yeah, but that's the construction worker. See how this works? Like that's the interesting thing, because you'll talk to somebody about their profession, you talk to them about their hobbies and their personality, and you gaining all this information constantly feeding information. So that's like such a side thing, but it's such a fabulous part of this job. You know?